StraighTAllDay.com.
You're now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques, all underneath the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called work on your game. My name is Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic, we are getting into what will be. Let me see how many pieces we got here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, 5-parter. We got a 5-part series on the keys to confidence. But before we get into this, let me tell everybody, I have a daily motivation text message. I send this message out free of charge every single day. Let me tell you what this message is going to do. Let me sell you on why you want to get this message for free. Yes, it's free, but I'm still going to sell you on why you want to get it. This message is going to have you focused, sharp, and on point to start your day every single day. All you had to do to get it is text me at my number, which is 305-384-6894. And every day when that daily motivation text comes out starting tomorrow morning, you'll be getting it straight to your phone, free of charge, while supplies last. That means for as long as I keep sending out the daily motivation text message. Secondly, Work on Your Game University. That's the place where you work with me directly. That's the only place you can be coached by me. That's the only place you get access to all my best frameworks and trainings around the concepts of things like mindset, strategy, systems, and execution. All of that, again, is at Work on Your Game University. The website to get started there is workonyourgameuniversity.com. Again, workonyourgameuniversity.com. That is where you get direct access to be coached by me. That's the only place you'll be able to ask me questions on a regular basis, get insights and feedback from me on what you're doing, on your strategies, on your process, and whatever it is that you're working on. Again, workonyourgameuniversity.com. That link and the number to get my daily motivation text are both down below in the description, whether you are watching this or listening to it. Now let's get into this topic, keys to confidence. And why am I doing a 5-part series on the keys to confidence? First of all, because as long as I've been in the game, whether it was back in the days when I was doing basketball material, then transitioning into talking more about mindset, and that now working with professionals, entrepreneurs like yourselves, the number one internal, intangible trait that I've been asked about the most by far is confidence. Now, while people understand the values of things like discipline and mental toughness and personal initiative and a whole bunch of other things, consistency and all the others, confidence is the number one thing that people want more of. And it makes sense that people want more confidence because people draw the line between, hey, if I'm more confident and I believe in my stuff more, then I would probably try more stuff. I would do more stuff. I would execute better. I would be more consistent. I would get more done. People would believe in me more, and I would have more of, all the good stuff that you want in life. And guess what? You're right. All of those things are correct. So I describe confidence here every day when I open the show, is your ability to put yourself out there and willingness, put yourself out there boldly and authentically. I've done TED Talks on confidence, 2 of them as a matter of fact. I wrote a book on confidence called The Super You. If you're watching on video, is that bright yellow book right there behind me. This is the number one internal trait that people want to develop, and in whatever way they want to augment confidence. So along with discipline and mental toughness, you will find with discipline and mental toughness, you'll find traces of confidence talk in almost everything that I've ever created. So in any course that I make, any book that I write, any coaching programs that I have, confidence is going to get mentioned somewhere in there. So in this 5-part series, I'm going to share some key elements that will help you build and maintain your confidence. And what you need to do over the course of this and the next 4 episodes of this show is you need to check yourself on every single point that I'm going to share. I believe I'm doing 3 per episode, so that'll give you 15 total points of confidence. You need to have all 15 of these. All right, this is not a pick and choose. This is not a buffet. This is not a restaurant where you're looking at the menu and you pick the pieces that you want. No, you need all of this. All right, this is a formula. You need all of these pieces to make sure that you get to your highest level of confidence and that you can maintain your confidence. And as I'm explaining what these principles or these pieces are, rather, I'm going to explain to you how these get supported, how you can develop them, and what are the things that you can do to make sure that they, first of all, get established and also that they remain intact. So any of you who believes you are not performing at your highest possible level right now, I guarantee part of it is maybe there's something in you that doesn't fully believe all the way in whatever it is that you're doing. And that's part of the reason why you're not performing at your best. However, the good news is we can fix that by making sure you apply what I'm going to share over the next 5 episodes of this show to make sure you have the highest possible level of confidence so that you can, as I say, put yourself out there boldly and authentically. Point number 1. Topic here, we are on part 1 of 5, which is keys to confidence. And these are not in any particular order. Again, they are all required, and these are all equally valuable. Number 1, positive mindset. Positive mental attitude. This is something that, if you are familiar with Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, and you should be familiar with that book, because I've mentioned it enough times here on this show. If you have not read it, go get it. Positive mental attitude is one of the 17 principles of success. And confidence is defined as your belief in your ability to do something. So it would help for you to have a positive mindset to support that belief. If you don't have a positive mindset about your belief in your ability to do something, then it's pretty hard you're in conflict, or there's a conflict there. You don't believe in it, but you're trying to have a positive mindset at the same time. There's a clash, and that energy clash is going to hurt your performance. So hopefully this positive mindset that you have is based around your belief that you can do, on what you can do and what you are capable of, and also about your potential future accomplishments. In other words, you have a positive mindset about your future, not just about your present. See, the more positive you can stay about yourself, the more things you will attempt to do. And the more things you attempt, theoretically, the more things you will accomplish, assuming that you have some baseline level of competence. And competence leads to confidence. To have a positive mental attitude, this is not something that you just wake up and decide, hey, I'm going to have a positive mental attitude, even though I haven't done any of the work. I understand that I've explained to you many times here how discipline creates confidence. I'll even give you the episode of this show where I explain to you how discipline creates confidence. That was episode number 757. So the discipline of showing up every day and doing the work affords you the right to believe in yourself enough to put yourself out there boldly and authentically. So discipline creates the competence. Competence leads to confidence. So this positive mental attitude, which is a hallmark of confidence, is a sub point of confidence, is supplied by the fact that you are competent at what you're doing. Only way you get competent at what you're doing is by showing up and doing the damn work on a consistent basis. So again, this is not some magic trick. You are confident because you are competent. You are competent because you are disciplined. You are disciplined because you have the structure in place that allows you or brings you to show up every single day and do the work as it needs to be done. Now, understand something, folks. Showing up and doing the work means doing the work the right way, in a way that actually leads to real competence. So if you're out there doing the work, but the work is based on your best knowledge and your best knowledge ain't that good, then you are not moving yourself towards competence no matter how disciplined you are. Because if you're disciplined at doing things at a mediocre level, then you're not making yourself more competent. All you're doing is making yourself more mediocre, and more time is going by. So this is why when it comes to building competence, you need to make sure you are around people, or at least one person who knows things at a level that is higher than yours, because that's the only way your competence can increase, because you have to be getting knowledge and insights from someone who knows something that you don't know. Everybody follow what I'm saying here? Did I say that too fast? If I did, rewind it and listen to it again. So the more positive you can stay about yourself, and again, this is supported by the pieces that I just gave you, the more things you attempt, the more you will accomplish. This is all assuming that you have a baseline level of ability and that you are doing the work to improve on that ability, again, which requires you to be around someone whose knowledge is an improvement on your knowledge. Everybody get what I'm saying here? This is why we have trainers. This is why we have coaches. This is why we have masterminds. This is why we have courses and books and conferences and events. The reason why these things exist is because there are people there sharing things that you don't know, sharing insights that you don't have, reinforcing things that maybe you quote unquote know but have forgotten and are not applying. All of these things matter. All of this leads to competence. And understand that consuming something one time does not make you competent in that space. You have to consume something about 7 times plus before it gets ingrained on the subconscious mind and becomes part of who you are as a person. So if you read a book one time, that does not mean you know, quote unquote, anything that's in the book. If you hear something that I say here on this show and you say, oh, I'm glad that Dre said that because it reminds me of things that I already know, and it's only the second time that you heard it, or you haven't been applying the thing that I said, even though you, quote unquote, already know it, then you don't know it. You don't really know something until you've done it. You don't truly know it till you can teach it. You don't really know it till you can sell it. Keep those in mind. All right. There's levels to this. All right. I talked about that in the episode where I did the 5 levels of expertise, which is episode number 1402. So the more disciplined you are at doing the work, the more confident you afford yourself to be. Point number 2, we are talking the keys to confidence. This is a 5-part series. Number 2, self-acceptance. Now, this is a tricky one for some of you. Self-acceptance means looking at yourself in the mirror and being happy with what you see, even though and even when you are still working on your game and looking to improve yourself. So that's why this one can be a little bit tricky. Self-acceptance is looking in the mirror, liking what you see, approving of yourself, being happy with yourself, accepting yourself as you are, at the same time knowing that, you know what, this self, even though I love it, I appreciate it, I like where I'm at, I enjoy who I am, I'm happy with myself, I am still going to get better, I'm still going to improve myself. This is how humility and confidence work together. I talked about this in episode number 1307, having the humility to earn your confidence. See, humility is you looking at yourself and saying, you know what, I'm not perfect. I can get better. I can get smarter. I can improve. I can perform at a higher level. I'm going to get better. At the same time, believing in yourself enough when it's time to perform that you can put all of that stuff, you can compartmentalize that, put all that to the side, go out there and perform. See, if you think of a great athlete, what do great athletes do in the time that they're not playing in the games? When they're not playing in the games, what are they doing? They're at practice. They're in the training room. They're in the gym. They're working out. They're getting better. They're improving themselves. They're working on themselves at all times that you're not watching them. And then in the games, which are few and far between as opposed relative to the number of practices that athletes do, they're doing the humble work. Or in the games, they're doing the confidence work. But in the practices, they're doing humble work. And there's much more practice than there are games at the professional level of a sport. Any of you who played a pro sport or know anyone who has, and if you heard me talk about it, you know I've told you this many times. As a professional athlete, my training to game ratio was about 10-1. 10 training sessions for every 1 game. What am I training for? I'm already a professional athlete. I'm already in the top 1% in the world at the thing that I do. Why am I training? Because I was humble enough to understand that I need to get better. But then when it came time for the game, I put all those humble thoughts to the side so I could go out there and perform boldly and authentically, confidently. Everybody see how all this stuff works together? So self-acceptance is, again, being happy with yourself while at the same time knowing you can get better. So it's being able to hold these 2 thoughts in your head at the same time. And some people really have trouble with this. See, accepting yourself while knowing you still have room to grow. This is how humility and confidence work in unison. Humility and confidence are not diametrically opposed. And there are people out there who talk about them as if they are. They are absolutely not. They work together. The most humble people are often the most confident people because they're so humble that they know they need to keep doing work and working on themselves. They keep working on their games. That's the humble part. And because they work on their game so much, they have made themselves competent, like we talked about in the first point, and they afford themselves the right to be confident. So you see how humility and confidence actually serve each other. And when you're extremely confident, you don't have a problem looking yourself in the mirror and saying, I can get even better. See, humility and confidence humility is not some way of throwing cold water on your confidence. No, they work together. Humility makes you confident. Everybody get what I'm saying here? So a person who's really good at what they do has the humility to understand they need to continue to do the work while at the same time having the confidence to go out and perform at the thing that they do so they can produce positive results for themselves and for others. So a great athlete is humble enough to practice every day, yet confident enough to perform at a really high level during the games. Doesn't mean that the athlete is perfect, which is why as soon as the game's over, what do they do the next day? They go right back to practice and keep working on their games. So again, these work together. They are not opposed to each other. Point number 3, we are talking here today about keys to confidence. It's a 5-part series. Number 3, goals, Goals. Goals. Goals are simply your expectations of future success. If you have read my book, The Mental Workbook, then you know that book is all about setting your goals for future success. I explain to you how the subconscious mind works, how the programming of the subconscious mind works, and that book walks you through is a workbook. It's not just reading book, a workbook walks you through how to start programming your subconscious mind by setting goals and ingraining them on your subconscious so that they become part of who you are, not just something that you do. If you have not read the mental workbook, you can get it by going to workonmygame.com/workbook. Workonmygame.com/workbook, or even better, let me tell you a better way to get the book, is to go to thirddaybook.com or mirrorofmotivation.com. Order either one of those books, which are free. You just pay for the shipping. And that's a sales funnel. We're going to offer you more books in that funnel. You can leave that funnel with about 10 different books, 10 books. Mental workbook, we wanted them because we'll offer you the mental game super duper bundle, which includes the mental workbook, bulletproof mindset, 30 days of discipline, and work on your game. You can get all 4 books in a bundle because, listen, who reads one book anyway? So if you're going to get the mental workbook, you're a person who actually reads books. And if you're not a person who reads books, you can read my books. So go to thirddaybook.com or mirrorofmotivation.com. The links to both of those are down below in the description. And just say yes when you get to the 3rd page of that funnel, where we'll offer you the mental game super duper bundle, which is 4 books. The mental workbook is one of them, and that will show you how to actually set goals. It shows you how setting goals. There's a process to setting goals in a way that it actually helps you and moves you to actually do what the goals tell you to do. All right, not just saying them, not just some New Year's resolution that you write on a piece of paper and you don't look at it again until next Christmas. No, that's nonsense. Real goals. So what are goals? Again, expectations of future success. When you set a goal, that means you are expecting to be successful in the future, and thusly giving yourself a target and an aim for reaching that success as a way of measuring your achievement of that success. Everybody follow that? That's what a goal is. You're expecting success in the future, so you're giving yourself a target to knowing that you reached the goal. You're giving yourself a measurable way of knowing that you did it. Successful people all have goals. Successful people all have goals. People who do not have goals cannot be successful. Why? Because they have nothing to aim for. It's impossible to be successful if you have nothing to aim for. You can't win a game of basketball with no basket to shoot at. You can't win a game of soccer if there's no net to kick the ball into. All right? Everybody get it. All right? You can't win a race if there's no finish line. So this is why goals are a requirement of success. You can't be successful if you're not hitting a target, and if there's no target, you can't hit it. Therefore, anyone who does not have goals is, by definition, you are losing. Because you can't win, so you're losing. That's a binary. People who lose on a regular basis, you know what they are? Losers. People who lose on a regular basis are losers. And the way you become a loser is by not having a target, which means it's impossible for you to win. It's impossible for you to be successful. So if you do not have goals, you are losing every single day. And people who lose consistently are losers. People who win consistently, we call them winners. This is just what it is. You are what you do. This is it, folks. So there are people who make these statements and say, well, it's what I do, but it's not who I am. Bullshit. Yes, it is. What you do is who you are. People judge you by your actions. Can we agree? Can we agree that we judge people by their actions? Can we agree that people judge you by your actions? Can we agree that when somebody says one thing and they do another, which one do you judge them by? What they did or what they said? You judge them by what they did, right? So when people give this bullshit saying, it's what I do, but it's not who I am, what the hell does that even mean? It means nothing. It's nonsense. It is who you are. Because everybody's judging you by what they see you doing. I don't give a damn what you said. I want to know what you do. That's how I'm going to judge you. I don't even need to listen to you talk. Let me just watch your actions. I know exactly what you're about. So if you're losing every day because you have no goals, you're a loser. That's it. Don't be mad at me. All right? Don't shoot the messenger. All right? If you want to win, set some goals and start reaching them. Get the mental workbook. I will show you exactly how to do it. I will make it so easy that you can't mess it up. Okay? So to build and maintain confidence, folks, you need to set goals for yourself. You need to get disciplined in going after those goals. You put a structure in place that supports the discipline. And because of all this, you'll be a more confident individual because you know exactly what you're working on and you can see your progress on your path to success. You can look at it and say, here is where I was at. Here's the goals that I set. Here's what I've done so far. I can see that I am proceeding towards success. You can see it. It's right there in front of you in black and white. Anybody can see it. You can be confident while still working on a goal that you have not yet reached as long as you are following a process. So you have a goal that I want to make this much money, but you may have sub goals in the process of it. You want to make $10,000. Okay, first let's make $10. Then let's make 100. Then let's make 500. Then let's make 1,000. Then let's get to 2,000, 3,000. You can see yourself getting along the process there. So that's why you got to have goals. That's why you got to have some kind of targets, not just these random dreams. A lot of people have dreams and wishes. They don't have goals. And in the mental workbook, I explained to you how to actually set these. So let me recap these first points here in this series on keys to confidence. And this is the number one thing that people are always asking about is how can I become more confident? And if it was just as simple as me just giving you a couple words on it, then everybody would already be confident because I wouldn't have been the first one to come up with it. Somebody else would have said it before. I would just regurgitate it. But it's not that simple. There are pieces that support your confidence, and I'm giving them to you here in this 5-part series. This is part 1 of 5. Number 1, positive mindset. Confidence is defined as your ability to do something. Your positive mindset is supported by that belief. And that belief is supported by your competence. Competence is supported by discipline. Discipline is supported by structure. Point number 2, self-acceptance. That is looking in the mirror, being happy with what you see in the mirror, while at the same time understanding you can still get better. This is how humility and confidence actually work together. They are not diametrically opposed. Number 3, goals. Goals are simply your expectations of future success. When you set a goal, you give yourself a target for reaching that success as a way of measuring your achievement and your progress towards success. All successful people have goals, and they are consistently winning because they are consistently hitting their goals, or at least aiming for them. If you have a worthy ideal and you're aiming for it, you are in the process of being a success. If you have no goals, then that means you are, by definition, you are losing, and people who lose on a regular basis are, by definition, losers. You are what you consistently do. That's said by Aristotle. You can be confident while still working on a goal that you have not yet reached as long as you follow this process. Tomorrow, we're going to part 2. Text me, let me know best insight you got from today's class, and also let me know you want to get that daily motivation. You'll be getting it every day straight to your phone. My number is 305-384-6894. And Work on Your Game University. I got a course in there called ASAP Confidence. Also in my Bulletproof Mindset course. Also in 30 Days of Discipline. Also in the Work on Your Game system. Guess what? In every single one of those, we touch on confidence from a different angle. Why? Because it matters that much. Join the university by going to workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre, all